All right, this is KAP Friday. We're talking about paying for college. We started off and we're talking about different costs for college. We had someone say tuition. We said food because we need to eat. Yara, what did you say again?
Attending sport.
Attending sporting events. Very good. Elena?
If you live in college, it's where you like your dorm.
Yeah, it's called room and board. Yes, like where you house. But even if you don't live on campus, if you stay off campus, you still have to pay for your house there. Yes.
A safe vehicle that's not supposed to use.
Repeat that. What?
A safe.
A safe. Okay. Yeah, you have to pay for a safe and stuff like that. What about like driving to college or like taking the bus or whatever? You have to pay for. Yeah, maybe. Yes. Furniture. Okay, so I'm gonna add. So I have on your tuition, room and board, food, textbooks. You have to pay for textbooks and stuff like that. Transportation. We had said like sporting events. What did you just say? Furniture type of things for sure. Let's just call it like, you know how you go to the movies with your friend or you go bowling, let's call it a socialization. You socialize. Socialize. I can't call it today. Socialize. Different things, right? Lots of things. Okay, do you think they add up? Yeah. Okay, cool. So on the next part of your notes, if you're at home, pull up the next part of the notes. It's some definitions and some words. So go ahead and see what you can match up. What words you can match up with the definition. Take a minute, ready, set, go. All right, here we go. Let's see what we got. Okay, that first one, funds awarded based on financial needs that don't have to get paid back are grants. Okay, maybe you do that, maybe you didn't. Funds awarded based on merit, so like academic or athletic ability, again, that don't have to be paid back are scholarships. Very good. A lot of y'all hear about scholarships. Funds that must be paid back with interest are student loans. Again, because they'll will almost automatically always have interest because it's going to take years and years to pay those back. Because it's a lot of money for tuition, and even when you graduate and you start your job, yes, you're getting a paycheck, but that paycheck isn't just going to your student loans. You have to get a house once you graduate. You have to continue to feed yourself. That's what good humans do. They eat. And so you can only send like a small percentage usually to your student loans. So that's why it takes years. Some of your parents might still be paying off student loans. You could ask them. You don't have to ask them how much, but maybe you'd be like, do you still pay student loans, or how long does it take you to pay it? Because it takes like 10 and 15 years sometimes to pay those off. Yeah. Provides a part-time job while enrolled in college. Work study, very good. That's a way to like help, instead of like, excuse me, so instead of like, you can have a part-time job, you know, they work at Starbucks off campus, they pay you money, you put that money towards your tuition. It's sort of the same thing, except usually, I think a work study, usually you are working for the school, so that could be a variety of jobs. You could be doing like lab work for one of the professors. You could be like a book clerk in the library that's helping to reshelve things. You can be working concessions at the football field. You can be selling textbooks in the school store. All of those things, and that paycheck that you get sort of goes instead towards your tuition, and it helps you take off some of the costs. Okay, and then lastly, funds that have been placed in an account for the purpose of paying for college expenses is savings. Okay, so many of your parents have savings accounts for y'all where they set like a percentage of their paycheck aside to help you save, and they start saving like as soon as they know that they coming because it's a lot of money. They want to start doing it ASAP. Okay, and again, some parents don't. Some just have to do student loans and stuff like that. But to each their own. There's no right or wrong way to do it. All right. Any questions about any of those? Okay, so let's sort of sort out some different things for college. Oops, sorry. So we're going to have different things in yellow, and we're going to either say that it's the cost of college or a way to pay for college. So the work study. money where you get 5,000 per year for 2 years? Is that going to be a way to pay or a cost? It's a way to pay. Food is a cost, definitely a cost. Savings, way to pay. Textbooks is a cost. Bike is a cost. Grants, it's a way to pay. Car and gas is a cost. Family support, that's a way to pay. So that's like grandma writing, remember grandma, love grandma. Okay. Room and board is a cost. Tuition, look at that, 12,000 per year. We looked it up during my last class. On average, the average Texas in-state tuition is about $10,000. The average out-of-state, so if you were either out-of-state tuition is always going to be more expensive because you're going to, they just did. So that would be like if I became a Texas resident and I wanted to go to LSU, or if I wanted to go to Yale, Harvard, if I wanted to go to UCLA, USC, any of those schools that are not in Texas, we're going out of state. Same thing if someone out of Texas wanted to come to UT, Baylor, A&M, any of those schools, those people have to pay out-of-state tuition. Okay? More expensive. And the average, I think, for out-of-state was $27,000. So it's about double. So all you people who want to go to these out-of-state places, remember, talk to your parents, and if they say no, that's why. Because it's like double the cost. It's expensive. It's crazy. Best fare would be a cost. Okay? So these costs, if you see, there's a lot of things. There's a lot of costs that go into college. And there are ways to pay for it, but that's also why there are student loans. And a lot of people have student loans because it is so expensive. But these are not set amounts, and you don't have to have all of these. I talked about in my classes about textbooks. Textbooks, college students are amazing at like making things work. So some professors will make you buy the newest and bluest updated version of a textbook where it has one new sentence and one new picture in it, and it costs a lot of money. Okay, but most professors are okay if you use a used textbook. And so what happens, like when I was in college, we used Facebook a lot. And so there was like a Facebook page for my at A&M, and it was just a Facebook page where people bought and sold textbooks. So I might buy this textbook this semester for $50, but then I'm going to sell it. So I'm not actually spending $950. You can like make it work, you know. We were talking about the buddy system. A bike, could you share a bike with someone? Absolutely. Could you carpool when it's talking about car and gas? Yeah, absolutely. More than one person can fit in a car. And if you split that cost, bam, boom. Okay? Talking about housing. Usually housing, if you're on campus, it is a set rate. But like people get houses off campus and they're not just gonna have one person in this giant house. They're gonna split it with like 5, 6 people. They're gonna try and split it if they can. Okay, because we want cheap stuff. Good? All right. Ooh, 1 second. Any other general questions about the spending? Yes.
What do you think is like the yearly cost, like average?
I don't know. We can look it up in a second. Once we get through the notes, there's not that much more. I'd be glad. I love looking at this. I'm also curious. And also, so talking about room and board also, that's why a lot of people will do colleges within their city. Like a lot of people probably in this area will go to U of H because that way they can stay at home. They don't have to pay for room and board because you're going to be living with your parents. Your parents are going to feed you and stuff like that, right? Okay, so those are all ways that you can sort of work this system. Any other questions? Okay, again, yeah, living in state, in the city, we try and save as much money as possible. Yeah.
Do all those like numbers and the rest of they just all add up to like the number?
So yeah, you would add all of these things because like this doesn't all add up to the tuition. The tuition is separate. Tuition is the cost of like attending those classes. Also, so to go into that, when you pay tuition, that is saying like you're enrolled for at the least like 12 hours of classes. But some people will overload themselves, not overload, but they'll take extra classes. so that they can graduate in fewer years. So you might take 12 hours 1 year, and you might take 16 hours up to 24 hours of classes. And that way, you're always going to pay that same amount, but you're going to go through college faster because you're taking more classes. Yes.
So for the tuition, so they would pick like the number, like the amount of money you have to pay. You would pay the same amount of money each year.
Yes. So that's an annual. So you're paying that $12,000 each year for however many years you need to go through it. Usually, because you can graduate earlier, tuition is usually split into semesters. So like there's the fall semester and spring semester, because some people can graduate in like 4.5 years or 3.5 years, and so you're not going to pay. They're not going to charge you for a full year. But again, people will sometimes through like high school credit courses like APs, you can graduate early, and you want to take APs in high school because usually those are free, and then you don't have to pay for it in college. And that's why people are so encouraged to take APs because then it's cheaper.
So like more advanced colleges like A&M and UA, is it like more expensive?
Yes, because it's all about demand. If there's a lot of people that want to go to your school, they can charge more money because they want to make more money and stuff like that. Okay? Yeah.
So how much do you think it would cost to immigrate from out of the country into?
Oh, that's a great thing. I can look that up. I have no idea. I don't know a lot of people. I mean, people do it because we did have a handful of people that came from out of country. They only usually did like a semester or two, but I do know people who do it all 4 years. Like either they go abroad or people come over here. So I don't know. We can definitely look it up though. I don't mind. This is the key from 2 days ago, talking about credit history, credit reports. Does anyone have any questions? Maybe not on here, but you thought of some? Okay. Or if you want to turn it off on. All right. So let's review. So how are scholarships and grants different from each other? If you need to flip back to that KAP page, how are they different? How are they similar? Yeah. Yeah, so scholarships are based on what's called merit, based on merit. So that means academic merit, like if you're really smart, really good. There's like scholarships for getting perfect scores on the SAT. Like, oh, you're really smart. Here's a scholarship. Congratulations, you got perfect scores. It's hard to do. Yeah, scholarship. There's scholarships for athletics, as y'all will hear, full ride scholarships. Full rides aren't just for athletics. So a lot of people forget that academics are there too. People get full ride academic scholarships too. Yes, ma'am.
Can I say something that they're like?
Yeah.
They both don't need to be paid back.
Correct. And so we'll put that in a second. So scholarships are based on merit, and then grants. Why are grants given? Grants are based on financial need. Are based on financial need. Okay, but as Yara just said, the colors both don't have to be paid back. Okay, so going back to that financial need, what that's talking about is like if you're from a lower income family, we have them, okay, they exist in the world. We have families where mom and dad, they work, but maybe they can't save up that $40,000. Maybe you have a family, maybe you have medical bills that money is going towards instead of saving for college, and that happens. But we still want to like encourage people to go to school. Of course, we want to continue our education, all that stuff. So again, a grant is based on financial need. If you're from a family that maybe can't afford to go to that college, you fill out this application, and the government will decide if you fit the qualifications to get some help from the government. And it's really nice again because you don't have to pay it back. Okay. So grants are more limited to who they can go to, whereas scholarships, again, it's pretty much open to anyone. You just have to fit the criteria. There are scholarships for everything. Someone in my last class was talking about there was a pumpkin carving contest, and someone got a scholarship for $500. There are people who get it for being left-handed. I had a friend in college who got a scholarship for a boy from San Antonio who played the trumpet. Okay, they are just random stuff. I got one for being a girl in the band at A&M. Like, it's literally the most random stuff. Some of them, but to keep in mind, it's not always going to be $1,000 or $6,000 worth of scholarships. It might only be a couple of $100s, but still, that's random people giving me money that I don't have to pay. Absolutely, and thank you so much. Like, I wrote them letters saying, it was a family, like the family that gave me for the band, I would write them letters and say, like, oh my gosh, thank you. I've never met you before. I'm a complete stranger. Thank you for giving me money. Like, it's so, like, that's nice. We like that. We thank you. Okay, that's just showing some appreciation. So, scholarships, apply for them. Okay, there's random things that you can do for. I'm trying to think of a random one. My mom, she has a scholarship at A&M for girls in science. Like, if you're a engineering major, she has, like, she picks a random girl each year to get some money to, because they're a girl in engineering. And that's just how it happens. Okay? Oh, yeah. So like it's not like that. They have some sort of setup system. So usually if you have a scholarship, like you're getting money towards it, you tell the college and then you take a list and they do the connection or something like that. She's not actually writing that check. Yes.
Okay, so we basically get scholarships like for like doing something that is like new.
Unique, different, I don't know. Yeah, it's a random thing. Okay. Again, the bigger scholarships are for more specific things and probably require more this and that, like academic ability or athletic abilities, but there are random out there. So what type of financial aid is awarded or earned? You just said the ones that are earned are scholarships and grants. Scholarship and grant versus the ones that are borrowed. Which ones are borrowed? Not savings. What was that? Loans. Loans are borrowed. Those have to get paid back. Okay, and again, a lot of people end up taking up. Okay, so just talking a little bit more, we already sort of talked through this. Grant, scholarship, work study programs, and loans are all types of financial aid. Okay, loans can come from private lenders or the federal government. Okay, so again, government or like banks loan you money, people loan you money, your parents are making money, so that's considered a private lender. If your parents make you pay them back, good for them. So again, that could be like banks. It's not just like we have to apply for this and have to pay it back, so it's not random because they want the money back. Okay, and then we're gonna skip this and come back. No. So with loans, what is sometimes charged with loans? Like the little extra bit, what is that called? Interest. So a lot of student loans will have interest because it is gonna take you 4, 10, 15, 20 years to pay off those loans. That's a long time. And so usually your student loans will have interest. So to qualify for all this stuff, like how can I apply for a grant? How can I apply for a scholarship? Every year, to qualify for those things, you will complete what's called a FAFSA. FAFSA. What do you think that stands for? What was that? How do you know that? It's on the paper. Yeah, it's the free application. It is free for federal student aid. It is a free application to get help. Okay. Okay, you'll hear about it every single year. People filling out the FAFSA and some of the questions. You have to write essays and stuff like that. But those essays can give you money. You like money? Yeah, I like money. The only form of financial aid that has to be paid back again is called a Pretty good. Okay, so if one day you get bored and you're like, how much do I need to start saving for college? Here's what you can do. These are the steps. It's pretty straightforward. You find all the costs. Okay, you can figure out what scholarships. So this probably won't be until like high school. But calculate everything, all the help you get, like savings accounts, how much scholarships you're getting, grants, this, that. And then what do you think you're going to do with those two? You're going to the cost and the help you're getting, you're going to subtract them, and that's going to be how much you still need. Okay, so like if y'all get part-time jobs in the high school, setting some of that money aside is not a bad idea. So for example, the annual tuition for Rhoda's 2-year college of choice is $5,485 per year. Rhoda has a grant and a scholarship extra below to help pay for the tuition, and we need to figure out how much more she needs to pay for tuition. So step 1, find the cost. If this is an annual tuition, that means it's how often? This is the yearly cost. But she's going to college for 2 years. So what do we need to do with this cost? We need to ready to go. $10,970. All right. Now we need to figure out how much help she's getting. She's getting a scholarship and a grant. The scholarship is $2,000, and that's for each year for 2 years. So what do we need to do that 2,000? Multiply by 2 to get? Very good. Okay. She's also getting help with the grant. How much is that getting multiplied? No, she's only getting it that first. But with those two amounts, we are going to add. Very good. So is she getting some help? Yeah, and honestly, that's about half, right? That's about half that she's not having to pay back at all. Is that nice?
Yes.
Yeah, she probably has some savings, she probably has some this, some that, some way. But how much does she have left to pay? That's what we're trying to figure out. Okay, so is that still a lot of money? Yes, but put it in perspective. I'm getting almost $5,000, almost $6,000 per setup. So isn't that a lot nicer? Yeah. Okay. So for the rest of the packet, it's just again some more good practice. Okay. I'll give y'all time to work on it now. Just answer any questions that y'all have. But at home, you can check that.